Welcome back to AM Northwest. You know, winter is a great time for birding, and Sauvie Island is the place to spot the fantastic four of raptors. Here to share more, we welcome back from Bird Alliance of Oregon, Adult Engagement Manager Brodie Cass Talbott. Great to see you again.
Good morning, Helen. Always a pleasure.
So why is now a good time to be looking for raptors?
Yeah, it's, you know, right now is probably not the time that most of us think about spending a lot of time outside.
Right.
Most of our
bird watching.
Right. Most of our nature enjoyment is through a window, but in the winter, we have a really awesome spectacle out at Sauvie Island. You know, we've got a lot of raptors that spend the whole year there, and then in winter, they're joined by all of these birds that breed further north and are trying to escape the ice and snow in the winter, and we've got a pretty mild climate here.
True.
And so we get tons of birds that come down for the winter. So
What will we see?
Well, we've got the raptors, but also Sauvie Island's really famous for a bunch of sandhill cranes, which are really majestic birds that come down. These huge flocks of geese, like snow geese.
Oh, yes, I've seen the snow geese. It's so incredible.
Yeah, that opening scene on Oregon Field Guide, you know, being able to see a group of 5,000 snow geese lifting off at once is just a pretty
Amazing.
Magical thing. So it's a great time to get out there and get some good winter gear on and go enjoy the spectacle.
So what will we see raptor-wise?
Yeah, so there's probably maybe about 10 to 12 different raptor species that are out there.
Yeah.
And we can see large numbers of a lot of them. And of course, the fantastic four that we always talk about are the four that we really expect to be able to see every time we go out. And then there's another 6 to 8 that you kind of hope for that are less guaranteed, because some of them are very sneaky, some of them like to hide, but everything from hawks to eagles to falcons to harriers.
Let's take a look at a few of them, and you tell me what we're seeing.
Yeah.
How pretty.
Yeah, this is maybe my favorite of the four. This is the American Kestrel. You know, they're small, they're fast, they're fierce, so maybe I love them because they're the opposite of me in every way. This is the female. We can see the male had those blue wings, and the female has these tiger stripes, and they're North America's smallest falcon, or smallest raptor. And they're just incredible. Here's the male again with those blue wings.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah.
If they're so fast, though, it must be challenging to spot them.
Well, the main challenge is how small they are.
Yeah.
So we actually drive by them all the time, but they're so small you don't recognize that it's a raptor. So they like to perch up on the wires, and they're just about the size of a robin, really.
Oh.
And so often the first tell is when they always wag their tail up and down.
Oh.
And so if you can find a safe place to pull over, hopefully you've got some binoculars, because when you drive by them and they're not small, they'll just look like a brown bird, and then when you get a good look, you get to see all those orange and blue and the polka dots.
Okay, let's take a look at another one. I'll have you tell me.
Yeah, this is one of the world's most recognizable birds, except it's in a different plumage than we normally see. So plumage is the feathers. Yeah, so this is a young bald eagle. And bald eagles are, of course, the adults, the national symbol. Everybody knows them very well, but they're really confusing when they're young. Here's a great look at the adult.
Gorgeous.
And these are amazing birds, you know, 7-foot wingspans, and a great conservation success story.
That's the thing. I mean, there was a time we never saw them.
Yeah, I still remember the first one I ever saw when I was a kid, and it was a big deal. We were up in the Puget Sound, I think, and they were almost wiped out by DDT, this pesticide that we applied all over the country.
Right.
And we learned that that's what was causing the decline of bald eagles, as well as peregrine falcons and osprey. And we banned DDT, and they've made a remarkable comeback.
That's so great.
It's a great example of how these birds are really resilient if we allow them to be.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at another one in the four.
Yeah, this is Northern Harrier, a really lovely photo from my colleague Tara. There's a reason I never bring my own photos. And these birds are quite distinct from the other ones. We often think about raptors using a lot of speed to hunt their prey, whereas Northern Harriers like to fly really slowly and really low over the grasslands and the marshlands. And they've got this facial disc, this circle around their face that resembles an owl, because they're hunting a lot like owls. They're using their ears to listen for movement in the grasses, and then when they hear something, they sort of wheel and pounce. Okay. And they're also fun because the males like this look so different from the females. Usually in raptors, they look the same mostly.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Okay, and the next raptor?
And this is the most abundant widespread raptor in North America. This is the red-tailed hawk.
Yeah.
And one of the things that makes them fun is that they're the most variable of all of our raptors. So each bird is going to look a little bit different. Sometimes they're all dark. This bird's reasonably dark. This is a young bird with that banded tail. That's why we don't see the red on the tail.
Oh, okay.
And they're really fun because they're not only on Sauvie Island, but they're really everywhere throughout Portland. So
yeah, I was going to say, tell us where we can see them.
yeah, just about anywhere. You can see them in your neighborhood. You can see them at Mount Tabor is a great spot. And if you're ever driving on any freeway in Portland, whether it's 84 or I-5 or 26, there's going to be one perched up about every fourth lamppost. And they're often, you can tell they're there because they're being dive bombed by crows who really don't like them.
That's so funny. Kevin, our photographer, he always points them out to us. Yeah, and we've seen them, as you just said, on every fourth mile post, you said.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so it's fun how successful they are and how abundant they are, and we get to see them all the time.
Now you have an incredibly fun event where people who are interested in finding out more about how to spot them. So tell me about this.
Yeah, so Hawks and Hot Chocolate, we're bringing it back again this year. We took a little hiatus during the pandemic. We used to be known as Raptor Road Trip, and it's an awesome free community event with our great partners, Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife and Topaz Farms, who have been great partners over the years. And so that's our home base. So we ask folks to check in there, and they can get a map. And then we've got naturalists, volunteer naturalists at different parts of the island who are putting spotting scopes on these birds, helping folks see them, identify them, tell them about their life history, and just taking advantage of what a great time of year it is.
So you bring a mug, you get hot chocolate when you're there.
Yeah.
Should you bring binoculars too if you have them? I would assume so.
If you have them, that's great, but we'll have some binoculars and some spotting scopes.
Okay.
And yeah, bring your own mug so we can make this a zero waste event. And,
Yeah.
And we'll have some covered areas. It's going to rain a little bit on Saturday. It always
yes,
does.
it is. Just so you know, Brodie, it's going to rain.
Yeah, and we're used to that. So bring a rain jacket, and we'll have some covered areas, and you'll get to see probably all 4 of those birds and probably a lot of other ones as well.
When someone comes to their first viewing event like that, I bet you they get hooked on bird watching.
It's really fun to watch, especially if you've got a kid and you put a spotting scope on a kestrel, and they get to see it up close for the first time, and you just watch this excitement build and this twinkle in their eyes. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, we're going to put all the information on our website at katu.com. Brodie, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Helen.
You bet. All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.